What's up guys, and welcome back to another video. Today I have a special present that came in the mail from a company that really wanted me to try out one of their drones. I'm actually really excited about this one. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you know that I mainly fly FPV, and all these projects I've been working on lately involve me trying to live stream the FPV footage. But I actually got into FPV because I was flying that white drone up there, which was a Phantom 4K. And what got me into FPV was I crashed it and I wanted to learn how to fix it myself so I could crash it some more to my little black heart's content. I haven't actually seen this thing yet, and I haven't looked up any videos online. I saw that it was a professional 4K drone. I saw that it was similar to the Mavic style, I guess in comparison to how it looked. But other than that, I really don't know anything else. I don't know about its battery life. I don't know about its weight. I don't know about what kind of motors are on there or how fast it flies or any of that kind of stuff, or if people have even reviewed it to say it's good or bad, but let's find out together. So this is actually really why I wanted to try this thing, right? It's a bit different from what I normally fly, to be honest. The cinematography style professional drones that I have are more, they're kind of doing the shack shimmy. So let's just skip over all this intro stuff and let's just get into this thing. So of course we've got the oversized box to open here. You guys like my shirt? You want one? Click up there. Oh, look at this cute thing. It's all fancy looking. The HS710. All right. Box looks nice. Do a little unboxing of this thing. So I'm seeing here it says independent ESC, brushless motors, 1503 2900 kV, going through 5 gigahertz for the transmission, low voltage remote control alarm. And on the other side of the box here, I'm seeing it says 4K camera, records more details. The camera adjusts the angle 90 degrees, 0 degrees. It's got a follow me mode, point of interest mode, and optical flow positioning system. All right, that's all what's on the side here. So let me go ahead and put this under the other camera and we'll open it up and see what's inside the box. It's starting to get really cloudy out there. I think we're actually gonna get some pretty bad rain. Yeah, look at those clouds. Let me see if I can get this thing open fast enough. Maybe if there's a little bit of battery, we can fly up there with that bird. That sweet bird that's flying around. Oh, another thing I noticed when I was looking at this thing on Amazon is that it was priced really nice in comparison to something like the Mavic. So for somebody who's trying to get into flying a drone for the first time and doesn't really want to spend the time on flying an FPV drone and learning how to fly manually, this is probably like a really good drone to start out with. I don't really know because I haven't flown it yet, but we're gonna find out. But as far as like the way it looks and from what I'm seeing, definitely a nice little setup for the price. So here's one of the batteries now. It's 7.7 volt. Capacity is 1820 milliamp hour. Let's take a look at this little guy. Looks like it's got a USB-C here to recharge it. That's actually pretty awesome because it's a lot easier to just come home and plug something into like a USB-C like you would for your cell phone than it would be with like my drones, for example, with the FPV ones. You have to carry around that whole charger. You need the right amount of power to be able to charge the batteries. It's an extra thing you got to carry around. So if you just got to carry around a USB-C cable, that'd be pretty dope. See what else is in here. I'm going to go ahead and put this thing to charge now so that you can actually take it out for a flight real quick. So it looks like from plugging it in that they already had it charged halfway, so that's good. Now let's take a look at this little remote controller they send here. All right, looks like this opens up here probably to hold your cell phone, right? Oh no, this is actually the bottom part. Here's the antennas. I need to see which way they point. Compartment on the top here. Oh, cool. That's the little phone holder there. Check it out. This is the controller here. And this is the little cell phone holder. You can just pop it right up here from the top. Got a little bit of a spring here, so you can put different size cell phones. Let me see if it fits with my case. Put the antennas up. It just fits with my case, so it's actually not bad. I think that'll fit there. It actually does fit with my case, even though I've got kind of a bigger case on my phone because I've got an OtterBox. Man, I hate the Bixby button. Every time you put your phone inside of a case, the Bixby button gets hit. So this is what it looks like with the phone on it. This is the Galaxy S21 5 whatever plus or something or another. So I'm noticing right away that here on the side there's a GPS button for, I'm assuming, on and off on the GPS. We'll see what that does. I see there's a lock button here. And then is this the on and off button? All right, so I think this is the on and off button, but I don't have any batteries in here right now. What does it say it takes here? All right, so this is going to take some AA batteries. It's lightweight. I thought this was actually going to be heavier than it is, and it's actually really light. So that's nice. You put it in your bag, it's not going to make your bag a lot heavier carrying all this drone stuff like my FPV stuff does. Let's put this thing in here. Get this thing turned on real quick. Looks like another storm's rolling in. So I want to get a quick flight in before that happens. Hopefully we can just fly right here out the window. How cool is that? Telling me my battery's dead. All right, I gotta find a better battery. This rolly thing here feels really tight. Maybe that's meant to be like that for a reason. Let me go ahead and turn it on now that I got the new batteries on. All right, look at that. We got full battery this time. Yeah, so I guess pushing this button up and down, we'll see here, it makes the GPS on and off. Look at this little cute drone. Look, it fits in the palm of my hand. So this has foldable arms, which is awesome. I love that this thing has foldable arms and that a lot of the newer drones are doing that. It does make it so much easier for you to pack it away. Ooh, what was that? Oh, it's a second battery. Nice. So we get 2 batteries with this guy. It feels like these props here are very bendy. I would be careful actually flying this thing into stuff, kind of like I do with my FPV drones, because yeah, these will probably need new props if you hit something for sure. But let's see how this thing flies, man. I'm super excited. Look, we'll even get the little peely peel off. You like that? Yeah, we got another one for you. I wonder how many people fly this thing and don't realize that they forgot to take off the sticker on the front. I remember I did that once with the cell phone. There's even little stickers I see here on the arm that say unfold the front arms, and then on the back it says unfold the rear arms, and there's a number 1 and 2, so you know which ones to do first. The camera here, from what I see, just goes up and down, but it doesn't go left to right. But that's okay too, because you can just move the drone left to right if you need to yaw to see. It's super awesome that this thing is small enough to just pretty much fit in my pocket. When I want to go bring out some sort of professional cinematography drone with me, when I do want to go hiking, I usually bring my FPV drones, right? First of all, those go inside my book bag with my batteries and everything. Then if I want to bring like something like my DJI Phantom, I got to bring this big ass bag with me. Like, let me show you guys this thing. So then I got to pack this thing in the car. Yeah, it'll be so much easier to be able to throw something this small into my bag along with my FPV gear. I'm going to put it through its paces and I'll let you guys know what I really think. But for now, let's just go for a little quick test flight and let's see what it's all about. Inside this little bag here, what do we got? Oh, extra props. Awesome. I was just wondering about this. If I broke props, what am I going to do if I don't have any more? So we got some extra props and some extra screws in case you lose the tiny screws that hold down the prop. So you do get an extra set with them. Let's see what's in here in this other bag. This is probably the charging cables. Yep. Oh man, thank God. We got some extra USB-C cables and an extra little tiny Phillips head that we can use for taking those props on and off. So I don't know if these are data cables, but we'll find out. There's actually a little SD card slot here on the side. So that's where you put in your SD card. I'm going to go ahead and download the app here. Okay, it looks like it says here to go onto the App Store or Google Play and to download the Ophelia Go app. And then you got to log into your Wi-Fi. All right, so I'm in the app now. I'm going to go ahead and just turn on the drone and see if we can pick it up through the Wi-Fi. There's a little piece of foam here. It looks like you got to remove before you can actually fly this thing. So let's do that. All right, now that I remove the foam, pop this baby in. There we go. Hold the button on. Hey, that sounds familiar. Is this thing running beta flight? Just kidding. So those are the C's making those sounds. Hit enter device here on the app, and it says connect the aircraft to Wi-Fi. So I'm going to go ahead and follow the instructions here. Keep this thing a little bit away from my face in case it decides to fly off. So when you first go into the app here, it's kind of cool. It looks like you've got, thing is kind of nice and laid out so you can see where everything is on the screen. Gives you a nice tutorial. See, when I first started flying those other drones, they didn't have all this kind of stuff on the screen. Kind of just had to figure it out for yourself, like all these little tooltips. So that's kind of cool that they put that there. Makes it all nice and easy for anybody who's just starting out, that's for sure. I see it here showing up, HolyStone FPV. Now it looks like we're connected. After a continuous long flight, the drone's lifetime may be affected by the operation high temperature. Therefore, after one battery is used out, please wait 2 minutes after pulling out the battery, then push in the new battery to fly. Then you put in yes, I know, and I guess it is doing the geomagnetic calibration at the moment, it says. Place the drone horizontally and rotate it 360. And then it says put it with the head up and rotate it 360 vertically. Okay, that got it. All right, cool. Now it says it's looking for a GPS signal. Oh, that's cool. I see here it has a little zoom feature too for the camera. It looks like it's a digital zoom, but still. There's some settings here that you can change as far as the max flight distance and altitude goes. Some calibration, and then camera. You could choose 2.5K or 4K for the pixels. It does, let's see here, 16:9 is locked at the moment. All right, let's go for our first maiden flight with this thing. All right, I'm not sure what it just did. It looks like it stopped the recording, and I'm not sure why. And like, I think maybe it's the wind that's pushing it around a bunch because it's kind of like being a little floppy. So it could be that it's just windy. Let me fly back towards myself, see what's going on. All right, this thing was like scaring the crap out of me because couldn't see and I couldn't hear it. It just kind of like vanished in the air, and my signal was getting a little bit bad because I'm flying from inside the house. So let me just land it here real quick. We'll assess the situation, what I'm doing wrong here. It's definitely doing like a weird thing when it's trying to calibrate its level, and it's kind of like toilet bowling around weird. So let me just see if we can get it back into land. Maybe that's another good thing about having a heavy drone is that the wind can't really move it around like that. Oh, would you look at that? The props didn't even get damaged. All right, that wasn't really a fair flight because I didn't have the card ready. I couldn't really fully record it. I will say that this thing is definitely a lot harder to land on that little spot on the window than it is with the FPV drone when I'm like looking through the goggles. I'm gonna go ahead outside and I'm gonna try and capture some footage. It's not super bright out and it's not super dark out. So let's see how the camera reacts to the amount of light that's outside. You can kind of get an idea here. I'll show you footage from the Cemetery Wise cam, and you can kind of get an idea here of what that looks like. And that's a cheap camera. You know, it's like a $25 camera that is shooting there. So you can see what kind of quality that is, and then we'll compare it here even to the drone. So what we should look at together is whether or not the sky and the clouds are completely blown out, whether or not we can see details in branches on the trees and stuff like that, because we want to be able to fly around trees since this is a small drone, and we want to know whether or not it can handle being able to actually see those branches and everything without crashing into them. Now let me dump this card real quick before we run out of light here. do now? On high mode, basically what you got to do is just hold down this button up here for like a couple seconds, and then it switches it. Yeah, see, now it's in low. Well, I switched it to high before we went outside to go fly in this windy condition, but hey, it worked out. It came right back, hovered over the house. I was able to hear it, took control. Even though I didn't have the camera working, I was still able to control it with this, and I brought it right back to the house and landed it. When I got closer to my landing spot, it was actually already still trying to come down towards the ground, even though I had control over it. So I was able to tell it to come up a little bit and back onto the balcony instead of landing in the grass. So that's kind of cool. You still have full control over it. So if you're coming down on like water or something, I'm assuming you still have the ability to control it to not land in the water as long as you're close enough to have range. Now, I seem to have lost range when the drone went right behind that tree. So I don't know if that has to do with my cell phone, but I guess if you're flying a big open field, it's not a big deal, or like over some sort of lake or something like that. It does have a optical sensor too, so when it's coming down to land, that little sensor there will make sure that it's not hitting anything. And then I believe it also uses the camera to make sure it's not going to hit anything. I'll double check that just to make sure. I do want to customize this guy a little bit. I have some ideas for it. I got some ideas. I believe I weighed it yesterday, but we'll do it again. It's supposed to be just sub 250, but I guess with the battery and everything, it's exactly 250. Yeah, see, exactly 250. So I mean, you could shave off some stuff and make it under that, but I mean, this thing flew nice in the wind. It was pretty freaking windy, and it was easy to control. I didn't have a problem. The only thing is, it's definitely not stable for the footage. Like, the footage gets really shaky because the drone's getting blown around. But if you're just flying at line of sight, it's really not that much of a problem. But yeah, I'm gonna fly it around some more and see what I think. Another thing I'm noticing with this is it's filling up my card really fast, and I don't know if that's an issue with my card or an issue with the file size that this thing's recording to. So I'm gonna try a different card, and I'm gonna see if that helps. It already said the card was full, and I wasn't even flying that long, so I'm curious as to why this card's getting full so quick. I have hit this button by accident before, and then all of a sudden the prop starts spinning. But I'm not really worried about it. These props, they're not going to do a lot of damage. That's probably why it's rated at 14 and up, because, I mean, I wasn't afraid to put my hand right over it when it was still going off. I was attributing it to how the DJIs land, where when you land them, they automatically turn off pretty quick. These do not. So when you're landing, I would suggest, like, right when you're near the ground, right before maybe you're touching down, you just hit that button and you just hold it down, and that way you'll just kill it and you'll land right away. Because I've had a couple problems where I went to go land, and then, you know, because the props are still spinning, it like pushed me back up, or if you're afraid to hit like a rock or grass or anything. Yeah, that's probably the better solutions. When you're coming down to land, just hold down that button right before, like right when you're about, like, right there, like right by the ground, because it's not going to hurt the drone to fall that much, you know. You got little pads on the bottom. Yeah. Anyway, this thing's pretty cool. I've been having some fun with it, even though it's definitely different from what I'm used to flying.
It's just, I just love flying drones in general, so I love trying out new ones and seeing what other people are building. But yeah, let's put this one back up and see what we get. Literally like 200 megabytes, and it's supposed to be a 32 gig card. So if it's filling with that, there's definitely something up. But yeah, you'll see the footage here is really shaky taking off. And that's because it's super windy. You can see from the flag there, it's just going nuts. And I'm also trying to turn it to keep it from getting blown in the wind. But when I stopped here, right there, that's where I let go of the sticks. You can see here, this is all just wind blowing. So, I mean, you'd probably want to fly this thing on a day where it's like pretty calm. And I'm going to try that so that I can actually get better footage, because I really want to do this thing some justice, just because of the fact that I think the footage actually looks pretty good. I like the way that the footage looks, and when it goes from, I don't like that it switches from contrast like the way that it does. It's not as smooth as I would have liked it. You know, everything's kind of like blurry there when you move too fast. So I want to see what it's like when you fly around in a place where there's no wind. It's probably gonna be so much smoother and easier. All right, so let's see what happened here too before this thing died. So it looks like it went up, and then I lost signal at some point, so I'm assuming it probably just went into return to home. Just trying to figure out where it was. I don't even know what happened at this point. Oh, okay, I remember. I was able to see. Oh, that's where the wind took it. Okay, so it was going far away. And then I guess return to home saved it. Because I remember when I got video footage back and it was up here, this is about the point where I turned around and I looked and I saw the cemetery, and I was like, oh, it's a little far from the cemetery. So then I started heading back. But yeah, then it said my card was full, and I'm like, oh, great. But I guess return to home at some point just took over and brought it back, so that's pretty dope.
And as you saw, I even hit that box over there. Props are fine. They don't look like they're all bent up or scuffed up or anything. I mean, I haven't gotten into any like super bad accidents with it or anything yet, but as far as right now, what I can tell is this thing's got a little bit of a pep to it when you definitely give it full throttle. But it's like a 2-cell battery, right? It's a 7-volt battery. So this is not something that I would consider an exact replacement for something like a Mavic. I got to give it a little bit more of a thorough test before I can really say anything, because today I don't know if the winds were a bit too strong or what for something this lightweight, but it was just kind of moving it around a lot. Also, I don't like that when you stop and you let go of the sticks, it automatically bounces a bit. So I'll just have to get used to maybe moving the sticks around a little bit slower. As far as 4K footage goes, I'm going to have to go back and look at the playback and see how it actually recorded, because when it comes down to the footage that I saw on the phone, it was lagging a bit and it just didn't seem like it was doing what it should be doing. So I'm going to do another couple tests tomorrow where I'm going to put the antennas in different orientations and kind of try to see what kind of speeds I can get out of this and everything. I do see it's got a couple limiters with the GPS where it doesn't let you go over a certain height. I'm wondering if turning that off will actually change that. So I'm going to go through the manual. I'm going to look at all the things that this thing's actually capable of doing as far as first impressions go. I was a little bit frustrated with it having some problems right out of the box where I had to kind of figure it out, but I don't think that it's something that a beginner would have too much trouble figuring out. It's just little things like every time I reconnected the drone, I had to make sure to recalibrate it. I still don't know if that's something you have to do all the time. So I'm going to look it up and see. The other thing is like the fact that I wasn't going that far away and still losing signal, but that could just be because I've been flying Crossfire and the goggles on the air unit, and that alone lets me go super far away. But you're paying a premium for that kind of distance and resolution, right? So as far as this goes, on the phone, other than the shakiness, I think that the footage actually looked pretty good. So we'll see what the playback looks like. And as far as having fun, I definitely did have some fun flying this thing around. Had my heart skipping a few beats a couple times where I thought I might have lost it. So yeah, I consider that fun. Let me get another couple days with this thing, play around, and I'll get back to you guys on that.
It's actually super cold outside right now. It's the next day. Oh, really windy. You can see the flag there in the trees. They're getting all blown around. So I'm kind of really curious as to how this little drone guy will do here. And the bird up there doing its thing. So I'm curious if, well, a few things actually, whether or not this thing can deal with the wind, whether or not the cold will kill the battery really fast, or whether or not it will actually last 20 minutes like the manual says, and how long I can actually stand being out here wearing shorts in this weather. I won't let anything happen to you. Guys, I'm actually headed right now to the lake area, that little pond that I normally fly at. I figured I'm gonna take the drones over to somewhere where there's really no signal at all. Well, where there's really no Wi-Fi signals or anything for houses. That way I can tell for sure whether or not it was my house. It went literally like behind the tree and I lost it. So luckily, it came right back though. It just hasn't been the best weather to fly drones, honestly. I want to try this thing indoors and see how it does, because I did see something that it said about flying indoors. Alright, to give this thing a fair chance, I'm going to go ahead and put a new battery on here, and we're going to fly this thing in the faster mode. So I'll go ahead and turn this guy on and let him start getting his satellites in view. Alright, there we go. I'm going to go ahead and hit record. And let's take off in high mode. There we go. It's a little shaky, and I'm not sure if that's just responding to like wind blowing. I mean, you can see the flag back there is blowing a bit, so there is some wind. But let's just fly around and see what it does here. see if I can walk here in a spot and see how it follows me, if it crashes into anything or if it freaks out. Alright, first let's bring it up. It's a good spot. And then, let's see, there's a little menu here. It says to enter, camera lens will keep pointing at the mobile phone and always stay in relative distance from the phone. Okay, so let's see how that works. Some obstacles and see how it does too. See it turns around, comes with me. So I guess, yeah, you can kind of just control it a little bit. You can go around the tree, see what it does. Where will it choose to go? Into the tree? Around the tree? What if I disappear behind the tree? Then what? Nope. Let's see what happens. Let's go. It's still following me. Oh, it's turning around because it sees some. Uh-oh, it's not. Wait, is it following me still? Let's point it towards me. It doesn't see me anymore. It lost me. Let's go find him again. So I guess maybe with all the trees it got confused a little bit. Let's see if it finds me again once it sees me. Hey, I'm over here. Look. Alright, maybe it sees me now. Let's take it off that mode. And then let's try again. It was working good there for a second. Oops. It was going up to return to home. Let me see if it'll go towards my legs to hit me. I guess it's still letting me, but... Yep, it'll definitely hit you if you tell it to. But it doesn't seem like it'll hurt you. I mean, those props just bent in. I didn't even feel it. Alright, this thing's on fast mode, so let's see if we can just get a little bit more footage with it before this other battery dies. Alright, it says it's about 3 feet in the air, so that's not right because I'm like 5 feet, and this is about above my head, so it's not super accurate with the GPS. Let me land it. Alright, so it's not super accurate. It says 3 feet, but it's about 6 feet. Yeah, it's a little more accurate as you go higher, it seems. Alright, I'm pretty sure I'm still off beginner mode, so let's see if we could go towards those birds at all. Yeah, the battery's down too low, so it won't let me go any further. Yeah, see, it's stopping me. I'm literally just yawing, so I'm not sure why it's doing these weird jumpy things, but it looks better there. I see there's a bunch of crows up there making a bunch of noise, and I don't know if we can see them on the camera here. They're right on this tree here. There they are. I'm gonna see if I can go up there by them. Let's show you how far that really is. And then I'm gonna probably fly my FPV drone around here for a little bit. What's wrong, Luna? Smelling the other puppies? Look how big she is running around in this little dog park. She just looks so silly in here. Did I have fun flying with it? Yeah, I mean, I had a lot of fun with it. Way more than I thought I would have with this. And is it durable? Yeah, way more than I thought it would be. I mean, I crashed into a bunch of stuff and didn't take it easy on it, and it's still together and it's still flying. What I don't like about it, I don't like that the camera is shaky and the software seems a little glitchy. Like, there were a couple times where it wasn't very intuitive on why it wasn't letting me control it, but I'm gonna go through the manual again and see if I can find out why that was. There were times where like I was telling it to come towards me and it wasn't, and I didn't know if that was something to do with the sensors thinking that it was gonna hit something or what, you know, and then I would reset it and it would be fine. So it could be like some sort of GPS malfunction or something else. I don't know. I would have to really look at it and try to find out what's up with it. I like the foldable props. Those foldable props, this is the first time I actually flew a drone with foldable props, and when it hit my leg, like, I didn't even feel it because it just folds in. I'm not worried about a drone like that actually hurting me. If I keep looking over here, it's just because I'm trying to watch my dog just to make sure there's no other dogs coming around here, because she probably would jump the fence. I mean, this fence is not very tall. I never really let her walk around here without being leashed, but it seems like it's pretty dead around here. There's no one around. Okay, fine, there's one person, but yeah, she's over there just kind of walking around at the moment. So yeah, I mean, I think it's a really cool looking drone, and I think the camera actually is a really good camera. I mean, it says it's recording in 4K. I haven't really gone back to edit the footage yet, so I don't really know what it looks like on the computer as far as like file size and all that stuff. I did see that the shakiness I thought may have been because of those little rubber things. Maybe they weren't in all the way, or maybe they just kind of suck. Maybe they're a little weaker than they should be. So I tried putting a couple pieces of foam behind it, but it didn't really help. With the camera shakiness, I started thinking like maybe the quad had a little bit too much vibration while flying. Like, it looked like it was flying really smooth, so I don't know, it's kind of hard to tell like what's actually causing that. If you're a parent that has a child that's looking to get a drone, this is probably one of the safer ones to get, just having seen what it did when it flew away from me, and then I lost it for a bit and it just came back and it was hovering over my house, and then I was able to take over and land it. So even though there were times where it did some scary things, it did the right thing by coming back to me, or, you know, being landable or whatever. I didn't like that there were a couple times where when the return to home kicked in, it like wouldn't let me take over at all. It wouldn't even let me move it to the left or the right. So it was like flying straight up towards things above it, like a tree, or like if I'm under a bridge, it would just fly up and hit the bridge. You know what I mean? So that I didn't like about it either. I think that it should have the ability in the software for you to take over even when it's in return to home. I can understand why they don't though. Like, if it's trying to save itself and maybe you're freaking out and you're hitting the stick the wrong way, Maybe it's just trying to save you from actually, you know, pushing it further into something you shouldn't. We'll see what they say about that and why it reacted this way or why the camera was shaking, but it almost leaves me with this really big itch to just kind of take it apart and put the camera on my drone and see how it reacts, and also take those motors and put them on a different flight controller and see how they react. Because I think that the build of it is really good. I think it's probably worth the price that it's at. Like if you try to build a drone like my FPV drones, you're definitely going to be spending over $1,000 because, you know, you need the goggles and all the extra gear, like all the tools to put stuff together. Like it ends up costing a lot. So to get a drone for like $200-300 that does all of this and has return to home, has 4K capabilities, can shoot at 60 frames per second, like all those things are really, I think, at that price point worth it. But it definitely has some room for improvement in the software, from how hard it moves and, you know, how twitchy it is and stuff like that. Like there are times where if I move this stick very little, it doesn't really do anything, but then I move it just beyond that midpoint and then all of a sudden it's just like moving really fast. So there's some things about maybe like the way that it's tuned that could be better, but it's definitely things that can be improved software wise, because the build itself is you can work with it, and you know, like the camera maybe needs to be stabilized a little bit better. The way that it is not really working for me, but it could just be mine has some sort of issue and the other ones don't. So I'm gonna look at some other videos of some other people who flew them and see maybe if theirs are as shaky as mine was, because if it's just mine that's doing that, then obviously something's wrong with mine. But if not, then we know that it's just like the way that their software is at the moment and their mounting for that camera. But anyway, overall, what would I give it? Like if I had to pick like 1 out of 10 for someone who's coming from FPV and like has these quads that are worth a lot more in parts, I think that probably give it like a 6 out of 10. I say that because it wasn't totally horrible. Like it wasn't a horrible experience. I had fun with it. It did save itself a few times. It didn't break right away. Like after crashing a bunch of times, it took quite a few hard crashes before it actually broke something. And everything that did break was very easy to fix. So I'm not sure that I would give it anything lower than that for that reason. But if you're just someone who's starting out, or you have like a child who wants to get into flying drones and be able to see what he's doing and not just fly it with no camera, definitely give this one a chance. So check it out, because I think they'd have fun with it regardless. And if they haven't seen the way that the other cameras are and, you know, gotten spoiled with that kind of gear, then they'd probably still think that this is amazing. Like the quality of it's really clear. You could see branches, like all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's where I sit with it. That's my honest opinion. If anybody's interested in actually getting one and trying it out, I would say just use the coupon code down below that they provided me with. And if you do buy one, tell them what's up and, you know, thank them for giving me a chance to actually review this thing and check it out. I'm gonna definitely do some more with it. I have some ideas. I'm not done with it. Like I know a lot of these people, when they review drones, they're just done with it, right? They make a video and then it's over. But you guys know what I like to do. I like to hack things. I like to take things apart. I like to, you know, so huge thanks and shout out to them for just even trusting me to do this review, knowing that I come from flying the FPV drones that I do. Would I fly another one of their drones? 100%. I've seen some of their other drones that they have that look pretty cool. A couple that can do flips. So I don't even know if this one can do flips. So I'm gonna have to look at the manual again and just see if maybe there's something I missed. But overall, again, I had fun with it, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video and enjoyed watching me try out something new that I haven't tried out before. Leave a comment, let me know what you thought about it. I would love to do more of these, so if anybody else wants to send me any to check out, I'd be down. All right, the weather's kind of shitty here. It's getting cold and my dog is starting to climb on things, so I'm gonna go get her and start getting out of here so I can get back home. Luna, what are you doing? I think she found the treats. This is where everybody leaves all the treats. Are you trying to get the treats that are in here? What's in here? Oh, it's all the balls and all the toys. You want one of these? You want a toy? What about the ball? You want the ball? No? Frisbee? There's no more treats in here. They're over there on that side. You want to get going? You want to go home? Yeah? Alright, let's go home.
Leave it. Leave it. Leave it. Leave it. Let's go. Leave it.